Hey guys, Dylan from Jingo Inc. here. Wanted to make a very quick video on what makes a good everyday carry pistol. Now there are 3 rules that we have. We're not going to go out and tell you to get this exact firearm. That's just not how we roll. But we do have kind of 3 tips that you need to look for, kind of do your research in when it comes to a firearm that you may be interested in, to see if it fits the criteria on what we believe to be a good everyday carry pistol. And that's the 3 serviceables. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the first one. The gun that you carry every day needs to be from a serviceable manufacturer. Hopefully I spelled that right. So what it needs to be, that firearm needs to be made by a company that some kind of agency or service or military or law enforcement uses. That's what serviceable means in this kind of case, okay? So some kind of agency, some kind of government agency, law enforcement, police, special protection agency, military, they use this. So for instance, Glock, SIG, Smith & Wesson, the list goes on. If a service uses this manufacturer, then we're heading in the right direction on finding a good everyday carry pistol. The next serviceable is a model. Now, just because that manufacturer makes a serviceable firearm doesn't mean that the specific model that you personally are looking for is a serviceable model. Okay, so a lot of companies, they'll make something that is picked up, they'll make a firearm that's picked up by the military. However, they also have a couple different models made more gimmicky for civilians and stuff like that, and that would not be a serviceable model even though it's from a serviceable manufacturer. So it has to be serviceable manufacturer and a serviceable model. Okay, the last thing to figure out whether or not the gun you're looking at is good for everyday carry is it needs to be in a serviceable caliber. Okay, it needs to be in a caliber, my marker's giving out on me, it needs to be in a caliber that an agency, a law enforcement agency, a personal protection agency, a military uses. Okay, so examples: 9mm, 40 caliber, 45 ACP, 10mm, 38 special, 357, stuff like that. Anything outside of there, you're kind of getting into not being able to buy it bulk enough, and also not having the proper reports. The reason why we make it to where it needs to be, we recommend that your everyday carry pistol needs to be in a serviceable manufacturer, serviceable model, and a serviceable caliber, is because there are a lot of reports that go on when it comes to lethal force and uses of force when it comes to law enforcement, military, all those kind of places. Okay, every time that they have a use of force, anything like that, they have specialists come out and figure out the ballistics and all this other kind of stuff. Very scientific, top-notch equipment, and they make something called coroner's reports that every single county in the country has. And the coroner's reports talk about how the person died, and they go into the nitty-gritty of all this kind of stuff. So if we use a serviceable firearm that was used in those coroner's reports by law enforcement and stuff like that, we can then verify that this firearm not only is reliable, but is effective and is worth us carrying. Okay, when it comes to those gimmicky guns that don't really have a lot of rapport and they're not really used in a professional manner, you don't have that you don't have the proof of it being reliable, because at the end of the day, that gun has to fire when we need it to fire. Okay, and that's it. There's no question, no ifs, ands, or buts. I don't care if it has a laser built into it or whatever. If it doesn't work, what good is it? So with this, with it being used in military, with it being used in law enforcement, whatever agency we talk about, there are thousands and thousands of tests and reports nationwide that shows the effectiveness and the reliability of that gun. So if you guys do have any questions, concerns, comments, anything like that, feel free to contact us anytime at info@jingoinc.com. If you want any training, firearms of all kinds, shotgun, pistol, rifle, advanced medical coming up, everything like that, go to jingoinc.com and register. We'll be happy to have you out here. So I'm Dylan from Jingo Inc., and always remember, a society is only as good as their amount of lethality under voluntary control. See ya.